I definitely think so. I mean, obviously missing some, key ingredients for sure, which makes it a little bit tougher. But, tonight we didn't have our pop for sure. We weren't playing at the pace that we needed to. Guys have been training hard, just kind of fell flat today. You could see that early in the first quarter. We weren't getting to the paint as much as we could. Obviously, we were taking the ball out of the net, so our defense, I told these guys, nights like this when we don't have our pace, we still can control the defensive activity. We turned it up in the third quarter, but obviously the Hornets had a heck of a night. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from all these guys. I mean, the movement's been there. We got to initiate, some advantages a little bit differently, and that's stuff that we'll just continue to add. But stressing the movement, the pace, we just fell a little bit flat today.
So how do you assess the first half defense in particular? Like you say, you turned it up in the second half, but in the first half, what do you assess? Like, what did you get out of watching that?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably hand in hand, just being flat. I didn't think we had the energy probably on both sides of the floor. Give them credit. I mean, Miller was shooting the heck out of the ball. I thought they had really good ball movement. I think, 6 or 7, 8 threes in the first quarter. So that definitely hindered our ability to get out, but that's no excuse. We were taking the ball in the net a little bit much, but our shifts weren't there. We were getting blown by one-on-one a little bit too much. So our defense was pretty compromised. They were actually getting the best of both worlds. And, we still had a 3-point game, and then they just, was just kind of an onslaught in that second quarter where we didn't have our pace, our defensive activity. We weren't talking as much. Got a little bit better in that third quarter, but definitely wasn't enough for 48 minutes.
Coach, last week you and I talked about your defense and just getting out, creating chaos on defense and getting out in transition. Seemed like the game started out that way, and you continue to have that throughout the game, but wasn't converting those points in transition. What were your thoughts tonight on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a calling card for us is our competitiveness on the defensive side, our activity. I don't think it was there in the first quarter. We got to have it for 48 minutes. We paid the price, give the Hornets credit. I mean, they took advantage of a lot of our missed shifts or, poor on-ball defense. This is the learning curve, for us right now. So we got to get out there. I think our guys have been training hard, but we got to be able to sustain that effort level on both sides of the floor because we're asking them a lot, play faster than we've done in the past. Our rotations have to be on point. Our movement on the offense, we're moving a lot more off the ball than we've done in the past. We're trying to create more 50-50 balls, so we're asking them to do a lot. So they're kind of calibrating, day to day, and we'll get better from this for sure.
Taylor, it looked like when you pulled Zach out, it was an extended teaching moment. How important are those, that sort of give and take? How important is that for him coming into this league?
Yeah, very important. I mean, obviously, I think he can have a substantial impact. He's learning a lot. Obviously, he's trying to figure out the speed we're playing with, the spacing. We're just kind of gradually installing stuff as a team. And, he's coming from a different environment, at Purdue with a different style. And I'm just trying to continue to encourage him on the great things I'm seeing. And, I keep talking about the speed of the game and the physicality of the game, just trying to know that, guys are going to be trying to push him off his spot. So how he's trying to, kind of dictate where he wants to go on the offensive side, especially on the interior. And, guys are swarming him and finishing with contact and, not shying away from that stuff. So just trying to provide him that feedback of like the nuggets that I'm seeing that, he's trying to do the right things. And when he may not be getting the results, what he can do differently in the next opportunity.
Coach, going into that fourth quarter, they were flirting with like 50% from the three-point line. You were dominated with points in the paint, 50-30. Just what's going to be your teaching moments on defending the paint, protecting the perimeter, chasing them off the line, that sort of thing in the coming days?
Yeah, we'll watch the film, and our point of attack defense has got to get better. Our pick and roll, we're not trying to throw everything out there and just adjust. Every single time we got to be good at our base defense. It's only our second preseason game. So our on-ball defense can be a lot better, including the pick and rolls. Our shifts have got to be better. They hit some tough ones in our face for sure, but then we can't give up all those points in the paint. If a team makes 18 threes, but then they score 50 points in the paint, it's going to be a bad recipe. So we work on protecting the paint. That's first and foremost. And then how can we still improve with our on-ball defense, pick and roll defense that even, limit their threes too.
Taylor, so it looked like in those pick and roll coverages, you had Zach and Jay coming up towards the level of the screen, even taking on some switches at some points and having some good moments. Jess, what are you learning about those guys in those coverages as you're gathering more information on those guys?
The biggest thing is I want to challenge these guys. They're definitely going to be in our, center field coverage and up and dropping and staying below rollers. And I think Zach's been doing a pretty good job. So has Jay. Our shifts on the weak side have to be a little bit better, so we're not giving up stuff at the rim or, our guy at the top has to shift better. So we're not giving up corner threes, all things that, we're addressing right now and trying to clean up. But then I want to see them, guard on the perimeter. I want to see them switch and take on that challenge and, put them those uncomfortable uncomfortable positions that maybe they're not used to. And I think Zach's been doing a great job. And as he's learning personnel tendencies, he'll be even better prepared. But for the most part, I think he's doing a good job one-on-one, and even putting Jay in those positions too, guys that traditionally play back by the rim. This is the opportunity to see what these guys are capable of.
Two-part question. One, how is Marcus Smart doing? And then two, it kind of similar to like with Ja in the last game. He comes back in and then leaves. When they come back in the game, after they have those first minor tweaks, is that more of them telling you like, hey, I'm fine, I can go play? Like, how do you assess how those situations are handled?
Yeah, Marcus is doing okay. Took a knee to knee, and then I just wanted to be precautious there, throughout preseason. I didn't, feel like it was needed for him to get back in there after he went knee to knee. And then it's a collective process. It's with the player, it's the medical, and myself, and ultimately I make the the final call. But we want to know if they are cleared to play, then we just make that decision.
I think there's been some wonder about what you guys will do when Ja's not in the game at point guard. You started with Desmond and Marcus today. I'm just curious, what did you make of the job those two did together, and do you think that's a combination that's pretty good in the backcourt going forward?
Yeah, I think it has the potential to be a good backcourt. Obviously, we saw it at the start of the season for a little bit. Obviously we're trying to play a little bit different style right now. But yeah, that's definitely on our mind. When Ja's out of the game, how we're creating advantages. We still got to try to maintain the same pace, even with one of the best open court players in the game. I think those guys are doing a good job. Trying to get in that conditioning, that sustainability I keep talking about. That pace that we want to play at. But those guys are really good playmakers. And as we continue to include more of our ball screens, off ball screens, right now we're just trying to play out of our principles, because that's going to enhance all the guys moving in the same direction. Whether it's a pick and roll, it's a drive, it's a cut, whatever it is. But I think those two guys, who knows what the rotations are going to be when we get into the season. I think Scotty's doing a great job too. More guys that can push the pace, more guys that can initiate our offense, whether it's drives or also off of our screening action. I'm very encouraged what those guys are definitely capable of.
Coach, right here. You spoke about Scotty just then. He finished with 9 points, roughly about on 20 minutes. Yeah, that's not really an appealing stat line, but when you look at the rebounds, the assists, he finished with the highest plus minus of the team. Did you see his impact on the court that reflect that stat line as well?
Yeah, I think he's definitely a guy that, it's not all about the points with him. He's going to set a tone with his defense. The disruptor, full court. I think he's doing a great job with the full court pressure. He had 5 assists tonight, so he's, improving just day after day just with the playmaking. I think he's pushing the pace, trying to get into the paint. He's got to clean up some of the times when he's playing in crowds. But his stat line is definitely that plus minus when he can make an impact. Obviously, plus minus is a stat that can be skewed a lot of different ways, but you feel the pressure that he's putting on the opposition. You see the pace that he's playing with and trying to make the right reads on the offensive side. That's what's encouraging about his game right now.
Coach, what did you think of the young guys tonight, and particularly what did you think of Jalen Wells kind of providing the kind of two-way play on both defense and offense?
Yeah, he keeps stacking days together. I think a lot of, teachable moments right now on the defensive side, had that kind of stretch where he's picking up some fouls. And, I hit him as like, hey, man, you got to know coming in as a rookie, showing your hands, and the technique's going to be, even more paramount in your position. But I think he's doing a pretty good job on ball defense. I think he got to beat a couple of times here, and he's hard on himself. He understands that defensive impact, the effort he's given, the multiple effort. He's taken that ownership, which is very impressive for a rookie. And then offensively, as I said, he's playing with a lot of confidence, shooting the ball. I know the shots didn't really fall for him tonight, but his cutting, his offensive rebounding, he's got a lot of tools in his belt. So it's just continuing to reveal itself day after day. And the way he just competes every single day and plays with a lot of energy, and he's taking advantage of each opportunity, which is very impressive. Great. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.